So I'm pretty sure that you have that image. French people are quite negative. I don't know if it's true, but today we're gonna learn how to say no like the French do. Bonjour tout le monde, I'm Cassie, your French tutor, so you can learn French the French way. And today we're gonna learn how to say negative sentences in French, but also a few expressions to, well, say that you disagree. But that's not it. I don't want to just talk about grammar and sentence structure. I also want to talk to you about the cultural aspect of saying no in French, what that means for us, and what that means in social interactions. So if you want to say no in perfect French and still remain polite, I suggest you stay until the end. Alors, t'es prêt? On y va. We're going to take the verb aimer for the entire video, all my examples. Aimer is to like or to love, depends on the context. And we've already seen the verb aimer together, how to use it, so I leave the link here if you haven't seen that video yet. So the basic structure when it comes to French negation is to add ne and pas around the main verb of the sentence. You have, for example, j'aime, means I like. You can like whatever you want, it's fine. Donc, j'aime. If you want to make that negative, you will use je. So remember, we contracted it because M starts with a vowel, but we don't need that anymore if we use ne. So you will see the difference. J'aime becomes je n'aime. Here the contraction is made with ne. Je n'aime pas. The pas goes after. You can do that with other verbs, other sentences. It's really how negative sentences work in French. Je n'aime pas. Tu n'aimes pas. I don't know. Mon chat n'aime pas. Elle est là. One of them. Donc, je n'aime pas, and then whatever. Je n'aime pas le fromage. Elle n'aime pas. I cannot say cheese. I don't know actually. Anyway. Elle n'aime pas la salade. So what happens if the verb does not start with a vowel, then you don't contract anymore. So you have the ne, the real ne. Je ne veux pas. Veux, c'est le verbe vouloir. Want. Je ne veux pas. Again, it works with any verb. Je ne sais pas. But if you want to sound French when you speak, then you will omit the ne. So it won't be je n'aime pas, it will become j'aime pas. Ne et pas are quite redundant. We just need pas. It's already a negative adverb. I know I've already said that in another video, but you know, pas is more than enough to understand that it is a negation. But just saying I like and I don't like is far from being enough to express negation in a language. That's why we're gonna go a step further. As I said, pas is a negative adverb, but there are other adverbs. Adverbs are what you add after the verb to add a bit of context. Let's say they are the adjectives of the verbs. That's what you add to the verb. Adverb. So, there are other negative adverbs that we want to learn. For real. Personne. Ne. Personne. Je n'aime personne. So you go from I don't like to I like no one. Je n'aime personne. Everything I'm gonna say I will use with ne because it is the official structure. Again, you can skip it. J'aime personne. Je veux voir personne, etc. So personne, ne et personne means no one or not anyone. I don't like anyone. I like no one. That would be the idea. But in French, personne. So when personne is used in that structure, then it is negative. But une personne is one person, a person. That's different. Same word, different use. Rien. Ne. Rien. Nothing. Not a thing. Je n'aime rien. Ne. Jamais. Never. Not ever. Je n'ai jamais aimé le fromage. I've never liked cheese. Ne plus. Je n'aime plus les sodas. Ne plus. That would be like not anymore or no more. Je n'aime plus les sodas, for example. And the last one is the only one that you need to make agree in gender. Only gender. It is aucun or aucune. And that means none. So for masculine, let's take soda. Soda is masculine. Je n'aime aucun soda. Or j'aime aucun soda. Again, you can just keep ne or an apostrophe. No problem. But with something feminine, such as a brand, une marque, je n'aime aucune marque de soda. So it is negation as you would say it in a grammar book, like textbook negation, really. But that's not all what we want because we lack context here. That's what I'm gonna give you now. So something that is good to know is that in French, it is very easy for us to say no and it's not considered rude. So if you ask a question, like a yes or no question, est-ce que tu en veux? Est-ce que tu veux du pain? The other expects to be able to say no, and it's not against you, the one who asked the question. It has nothing to do with you. It is a real question, requires a real answer. Otherwise, just don't ask if you don't want an answer. That's a bit how we take it. But know that French people like to disagree even with friends and debate. That, I don't know, that's just natural to us. So disagreeing with someone is not that you don't like the person. I've seen people from an outside perspective, they look like they were arguing and nothing was wrong, really. They were absolutely okay after that. So, except if, well, there is a real fight and people are mean to each other with words, mean, just saying no, just disagreeing is not bad. At least for us. Culturally, for French people, not that bad. Think that we made a revolution, pretty big one. Maybe it comes from there, I don't know. But we're really proud to make our points, to say our minds, and sometimes in our minds it's a no. Eh, tu veux venir au cinéma avec moi? Non merci, ça va aller. For example, I remember in a video Nathaniel drew, I could not find the video for the life of me, but I will put his channel, you probably know him, but I will put his channel in the description. In a video, he was explaining that in France, French people tend to answer no first, and then check what the real situation is. And I find it quite true. First no, you know, we set expectation, okay, it may not be possible, but we say no, we don't say maybe. And then if the person insists, if they really want it, we find a way to make it possible. And I thought he was quite on point. Negative sentences are not the only way French people will express that they don't agree or they don't want something. There are a few expressions that you could use as well that will enrich your vocabulary and make you sound French, for sure. Okay, first, very politely, non merci. That would be the equivalent of no thanks. Non merci. If you don't want to say no, maybe it's a bit too much for you yet, you could say, ah, je suis désolé. Je suis désolé. And often it is followed by ça ne va pas être possible or ça va pas être possible. Here you find the negative structure again. You also have te sens pas obligé. Like, don't force yourself. Don't think you have to. That's a way to say you shouldn't. Really. Te sens pas obligé. Or ne te sens pas obligé. A bit like that, you also have je crois pas. Or je ne crois pas. I don't think so. Je ne crois pas. You know it's not gonna happen. And the last three are a bit firmer. That would be impossible. Non, impossible. That's a firm, definitive no. Impossible, impossible. Then we go one step further. Hors de question. No way. Out of the question. Hors de question. And the last one is a bit passive-aggressive, but you really convey your message here. Même pas en rêve. Not even in your dreams. Même pas en rêve. If I were you, I wouldn't insist if somebody said that to me. As we saw in this video, saying no is easy and natural and sometimes quite important in French culture. We're kind of proud to be able to say no. So I hope this video will help you to understand how to make a negative sentence, but also the cultural aspects of it. And if so, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. It helps a lot. And now, if you want to make sure that you pair these new cultural aspects of French and new skills with the correct gesture, I invite you to watch that video next. So that's it for today. À la semaine prochaine. Salut!